Okay, welcome back everybody to some Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. It's been a while, obviously, because the tournament's been there. But there have been some pretty big issues in my life. Not like major things, I mean, but in terms of like just in the short term that have prevented me from recording. One of them was that I got horribly sick sometime in the middle or something of the tournament, or just before, which meant that basically I couldn't do a single thing. Um, I couldn't record at all. I had a cough that was pretty much debilitating for well after the tournament, even up to like now. I recovered about 3 days ago. I've been sick since about January 4th, so that is a fairly long time to be sick. But yeah, I've gotten a little better. I'm gonna start recording, not as frequently, possibly, depending on my schedule, but yeah, the holidays are about to end, so, well, not really, not for me, but for people, holidays are about to end, things are going on. So today I wanted to do a quick recap video because, a quick little talk about what to do when you haven't really when you've left the character for a long time and really just not done anything with it for a very long time. So for example, this Deep Fire Elementalist, I've played in between this game and that game. I've probably played about 8 or 9 wins. I've like done a bunch of stuff. I've also played different games. I've done all this random stuff. And suddenly, wow, I'm back in the Deep Fire Elementalist of Vahumit. I don't remember a single thing about this character. How would I go about making sure that this character doesn't die in the interim between me returning to the mindset of the character that I was in, and, obviously, like, right now, where I have no idea what's going on? Well, the first step that I would take is pretty obvious. I would make sure that I'm looking at my inventory. I would look through all this stuff. For example, like, oh, look, I have some pretty, like, mediocre armor. I have Swamp Dragon Scales. I got the Staff of Energy. My rings are pretty poop. I got the Wand of Digging. That's good. 1 scroll of Blinking, 8 scrolls of Teleportation, 2 scrolls of Fear. So I'm a little bit on the defensive things. I have enough to get me out of any situation, but they will run out fairly soon. So I should be being a bit careful, if possible, to make sure I don't waste all those teleports in case I need to do like an Abyss run or something crazy like that. I have 7 Heal Wounds potions, 7 Haste potions. That's really good. 6 Curing. Normally an issue, because if you're poisoned really heavily, the only way you can get out of it is curing. But because I have poison resistance, I'm okay with that. The only thing that I'll really need a cure out of is if I need to get out of confusion. Everything else would be pretty good. And hopefully we don't get confused at all. Anything else? We got 5 potions of mutation and 2 manuals of ice magic. So I'd always do this little quick rundown through my character just to see what's up. See what's happening. With a mage specifically, I would look at my spells. So it looks like I was getting Deflect Missiles up. Orb of Destruction's good. Bolt of Fire seems to be my obvious long-range skill. Poison Arrow seems to be my secondary long-range skill with Poison on top. I've got a couple of useless spells like Flame Tongue, Throw Flame, Conjure Flame. Not sure what they're all about, but, probably I just didn't have enough Amnesia, and I only have 2, so that's fairly consistent with what I'm seeing here. Got Fireball, got Freezing Cloud, got Orb of Destruction, so these are all my offense spells. Just checking what's in every slot, just seeing what this character looks like. Blink is good as our defense. Animate Skeleton, do I have the macro for it? Yes, I do, so that means that I was using that. You can also see that there's a Orc Wizard Skeleton here on the screen, so that's meaning that I probably used it. Looking at our skills, we have pretty low conjurations, honestly. I don't know why I have such low conjurations. Probably because I didn't feel like it was necessary at the time. Looking at my skills, I have fairly low spell power in a lot of my spells, so I might consider bumping up my conjurations with a little bit more priority for the time being. Fighting is doing well, armor is doing well, dodging is doing well, and it looks like we're getting the shield protection up, which is really good. Anything else that we need to really worry about? I don't think so. I'm just making sure that my audio is good, because like I said, I haven't done any recording since the cough, and I just haven't been able to kind of get in that mode of I can talk to the camera or talk to the microphone. So I don't know the distance and all that stuff. So now that I've got my basic general strategies laid out, I'm like, okay, I know kind of what's going on. Playing Vahumit, I've got a mage, I've got all these spells in all these places. How am I going to make sure that I'm used to the spells that I've got? because I am someone who has played hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games in this in Crawl. I've played hundreds of mages easily. Like, the number of mages I've won goes into the hundreds quite easily. The deep elves, probably upwards of 30 deep elves have been ascended by me. I know exactly what a mage plays like. All mages play exactly the same for me. All characters play the same for me. But for someone who is winning their first game with deep elf, you know, I understand that, like, not every single game that you play will be from start to finish just sitting there in one go smashing it out, right? You're gonna have to have some time in between your games. Sometimes you're not going to be as familiar with the stuff that you've got. So what I would do, what I would suggest if you ever come back to a deep elf or any character and you're really not sure about how the character was supposed to run, I would definitely play very slowly in the first floor or two until you get back in the swing of things. I also want to note that I have I have very poor MR, only 1 pip, and I noticed that, and I have a ring of magic protection in my inventory. I'm going to definitely swap that out for the +2 protection. That's going to drop my protection down a little bit, but in return, that's going to give me 1 extra pip of magic resistance. Why do we need magic resistance? Well, in Vault, they're the blue guys, the Vault Sentinels, or whatever the hell they're called. They have a line of sight based marking ability, which will, you know, awaken everything around you and force them to come to you. Very dangerous, obviously. We want to have a little bit of protection against that. Generally, I like to have at least 1 pip of magic resistance to kind of counter that. Though that might not be necessarily what we needed. That might not necessarily be what we exactly need right now. It could have been that yesterday's character, or yesterday's video, or last video, whatever, actually just realized that I was one-shotting all those blue guys, and I didn't have to worry about the MR. I don't know that yet, so I'm going to take the safe route, and I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the Arcane portals, the Wiz Labs. About 65% of the Wiz Labs that I go into, I immediately leave. I will say that because the Wiz Labs are dangerous areas, often like surprisingly dangerous, and they often have hidden mechanics that can get you killed pretty easily. Wujan's temple is quite dangerous, for example. I really don't like that place. I've only successfully cleared it like once, and this is over hundreds of games, so... Actually, yeah, that is a Wiz Lab, yeah. So, depending on the Wiz Lab, I'll actually just skip it completely, just because it could be very dangerous. If you feel like you want to lose this character, or you feel like... Sorry, that's not what I meant to say. It's more like, if you feel like the character is going pretty well, and you think that, you know, you have the power to go through, or you're really gunning for some resistance or some resource that you need, go ahead and challenge the Wiz Lab. But if your character is solid and you don't need anything, you're going to end up burning a lot of consumables possibly, and it's almost always... depending on the Wiz Lab, it could be completely not worth it. Anyway, for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and read the magic mapping. I like to keep a surplus of 5 magic mapping scrolls for every floor of Zot, and we'll look at that later. But we're going to take a look at what the Wiz Lab could be. On the minimap on the right, you can see that the yellow tiles will be indicating entrances to portals. These could be shops, or they could be just... Yeah, pretty much just shops. It's most likely that the Wiz Lab is right there. You can tell because generally the vaults for Wiz Labs tend to be pretty intricate, like this is probably made of glass. These statues here indicate that, you know, it's a Wiz Lab. So we're going to go down a close-by staircase and just hopefully just go into that Wiz Lab first. Like I said, if I miss the Wiz Lab, I'm completely happy. I'm not worried at all. Alright, so that's Donald at full screen. Unfortunately, I don't really have too many ways of using Orb of Destruction here, because no matter where I back off to, he's probably going to catch up by the time I get to a good spot where I can orb him. I'm going to instead hit him with some poison arrows, and I'm just going to start running back. So now he's in this position. Slightly better Orb of Destruction area, but looks like I just missed one. Going to back off here. Excellent, just murder him. Shiny shield, that could be really good. It's just +2 nothing, so we're just going to get rid of it. And we're going to go down another set of staircases. I like to go down different stairs in case I can get closer to the Wiz Lab and I don't have to worry about, you know, fighting my entire way from this point over here, down through this area, potentially opening myself up to this north area, running all the way up here and then fighting this stuff. It's just not safe, so if the layout of the floor is not friendly to you getting to the Wiz Lab quickly, just don't worry about it. Just skip it. The same goes with every branch. I just wouldn't worry about it at all. Alright, going to the magical portal. So this is the Chamber of the Cloud Mage. I find that this is a fairly easy Wiz Lab. It's one of the easiest ones. The benefits of this is not too high, though I will say that the wizard in here has been buffed pretty significantly, so it might actually end up being pretty dangerous. I don't know yet, though. I'm going to use my Bolt of Fire here just to take out 3 enemies at a time, like so. I don't have resistance to electricity, so unfortunately I'm going to be in a bit of struggle town, but that's okay. We'll try to just get through it. Okay, so I've been engulfed in a cloud of chaos, which means that random things could happen to me, including paralysis. I'm gonna go ahead and try to blink out of this. Am I still engulfed in one? Nope. Okay, I'm just gonna Bolt of Fire a couple of times, hopefully just take out some enemies. This is getting a little bit dangerous, like I said, so again, I'm not too worried about staying here. If I can't kill the Blizzard Demon in a few more shots, I'm just gonna go ahead and leave. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot. Air Elementals are now very dangerous. I'm gonna just leave now. This is too dangerous for me to handle. I'm going to have to do something here to get rid of this Air Elemental. So Air Elementals now cast mini tornadoes, which are very dangerous for pretty much everyone. They're very annoying to deal with now. They're completely obnoxious. Like, look at this shit. This is just frustrating. I'm gonna have to try to just kill it. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. It has quite a lot of immunities, and it is fairly dodgy, so we're gonna have to just pray that one of our bolts of fire hit it strong enough that it dies. Like, it's throwing me through walls and shit. I can't tell what's going on. Alright, managed to kill it with acid ones. So for a new mage, if you're playing on Trunk and you see these new elementalists, prioritize them if you can, if it's convenient for you, and try to hit them with things that don't miss very often. Fireball comes to mind. I just didn't want to do it on a new floor because, again, I have, you know, I don't want to attract too much noise with this new area. So again, I'm going to play very slow just to make sure that my character doesn't die because I'm unfamiliar with the controls or whatever. I'm going to back off here, recast repel missiles, and then get on the staircase and just shoot at these guys from max range. If I run out of mana, so be it. I'll just go back upstairs. It's no big deal. Alright, I'm out of mana now. I'm going to go back upstairs and heal, then come back down, and then I'll go pick up these corpses. Generally, the corpses won't actually, won't rot by the time you get there. Interestingly enough, it looks like the casting thing on the screen, sorry, in the logs, has a different layout now. So it shows you what spell you're casting, and it shows you the risk of failure and such. Not that that's ever really useful to me, because I'm mostly aware of my spell failures, but I don't actually know what that's for. Like, I can't actually tell. I can't see a real use for it. Okay, we've moved in pretty concentric circles here. Just showing off a little bit of apportation strength, which is why I consider it a very powerful level 1 spell. You can pull items away from, you can pull items towards you from the edge of line of sight, meaning that you don't have to go explore those areas to risk yourself, I guess. So for example, in that case of the remove curse scroll, if I'd walked up to the remove curse scroll, I would have fought those 2 orcs all the way out in the open, potentially opening me up to this upper side. It's pretty optimal to pick up everything with apportation, but it's very tedious, so I wouldn't really bother with it too much. It's mostly just a consideration for me to give you guys, because, again, could be useful. I want to check out what this book is. This is a book of summoning and necromancy. I'm not too interested in any of these. They're too different from our game plan, I suppose. I will say that the potions of brilliance are pretty useful to have, so I'm going to pick those up. On mages, you can use those to kind of cheat out wizardry, giving you a short-term ability to cast spells that are normally outside of your reach completely. It also gives you, like, just general good bonuses to your magic and stuff, so it's very good. So again, I'm forcing everything to be on edge of line of sight. Notice how the skeleton is ensuring that enemies stay at the edge of line of sight, because once they try to move forward, the skeleton hits them, confuses the crap out of them, and then they get scared, and then they stay at edge of line of sight. They are, of course, interfering with my combat, but I'm not too worried about that. The main priority is getting them out of the... just having them there to distract enemies from time to time. It's not a huge deal. There you saw me do a little bit of anti-synergy with Freezing Cloud and Bolt of Fire. That's fair enough. Like, I made a mistake because, again, unfamiliar with the thing. I'm just demonstrating unfamiliarity. Sure, why not? Let's go with that. Potions of Mutation are good. Curing is good. I probably have enough Brilliance. Now, you're seeing here that I have absolutely no money. I'm broke as shit, just like in real life. But here I'm going to go ahead and put these on the shopping list with my $sign. And that's going to make it so that I can eventually buy some of these. I don't really need them all right now, but eventually when I have enough money, it'd be nice to have an extra buffer of consumables that I can kind of keep with me. Okay, so now we're in a bit of a danger zone here. The Deep Troll Earth Mage, has a very annoying tendency to shatter the walls, doing a lot of damage to you. I made sure to just back off there. Again, keeping things at edge of line of sight, making sure that I'm kiting things as much as possible. Because of the... because I'm wearing, like, pretty light armor, I guess I could say that I'm a bit stealthy. Not really stealthy. I could actually invest in some stealth, it'd be pretty helpful. But as you can see, as I backed off during the combat scenario, enemies kind of lost track of me, or they never noticed me in the first place, letting me get away with more pack splitting than you would expect. It's very helpful for me to do that, because it allows, like, again, the kiting back method gives you more mana, it gives you, more safety. It protects you from things like backspawning because you're always retreating towards the known. It's just very powerful in general to walk back as a mage, especially if you have time to just kind of do all the optimal stuff. Okay, I'm kind of cornered now. This is pretty bad. I'm going to be in a bit of trouble if I run out of mana here because the two enemies there are kind of sandwiching me away from the known, which kind of sucks. Again, this is a mistake on my part. I should have probably explored this way first and then gone around, giving me a little bit less chance of being backspawned. But this is a fairly exceptional circumstance, I would say. I'm going to go ahead and Freezing Cloud here, and I'm just going to stand here and possibly just Poison Arrow 1 or 2 times. The Freezing Cloud is excellent for corridor fights because enemies can't walk out of it, and you can just kind of, like, you can just kind of pelt them with spells. Obviously, again, anti-synergy with the Bolt of Fire, but tons of synergy with the Poison Arrow. So these Vol Sentinels here, as you can see with the Sentinels mark, with 1 pip of magic resistance, the Sentinels mark goes from like 60-something% to like 20%, which is really useful for us. It means that we basically are very unlikely to have ourselves get marked really early on in the floor, which could potentially just end the run if we run out of resources or whatever, or really bad spawn happens or something happens like that. Maybe if we teleport on a completely unknown floor while being marked, we could get screwed. All these kind of bad things will happen when you get marked, so try to avoid doing it. So again, we've created kind of a nice wall of known for us to escape into if things get a bit hairy. This looks like a fairly packed area. I'm just going to make sure to stand near the entrance if I can. Make sure to retreat whenever I can as well. There we go. Oops, that was a mistake. See, I should have definitely opened the door from this side rather than this side. I just kind of fat-fingered it. Here's a fire giant. There was no real getting around being in melee with that enemy, unless I shouted for him to open the door, but that's kind of a dangerous spot as well, because again, it would draw all the enemies from here, so there are ups and downs to doing the things that I do, but I don't know. I think it's, depending on the game, it could be the right or wrong choice, but it's very hard to tell in the game. It's only with hindsight that you can really say, oh, which one was safer. I mean, technically, I think opening the door was safer here, because if I'd shouted, say for example here, maybe I would have been fine. I could have just shouted over here, opened the door from both sides, but again, that's a little bit too much. I think that's overly analytical for someone who's playing their first game of Crawl. Again, I'm just doing it in case you guys are those kind of players where you really do enjoy the analytics of particular scenarios and states in the game. But, you know, for a general first win, you really don't need that kind of analysis in terms of, like, just the most minute actions. I suppose if I was doing a replay of someone, I would definitely point that out, and I'd definitely talk about that. Here, I'm just doing it mostly for interest's sake, because, again, it's a lot of stuff to talk about. Haven't really been recording for a while. Got a lot to talk about, you know. my brain feels like it's been refreshed, even though for the last entire month I've been almost bedridden and completely exhausted. So, you know, it's kind of weird that I say that I'm refreshed, but, you know, it's great. Sure, why not? I'm actually feeling a lot better today compared to the other days. Alright, I'm in a pretty spooky situation here. Stone Giant's just shooting stuff at me, not liking it. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot some poison arrows with the stone, with the freezing clouds. A bit low on mana, backing off. Got him back off again. Alright, that's good. Retreat with a couple of chunks in tow just so that I can rest up, get my mana back, and then return to the fray. Excellent. We're doing good, guys. I just realized the Staff of Power really doesn't... Sorry, the Staff of Energy doesn't actually benefit me other than making my Orb of Destruction hungerless. I think that's actually worth it, though. I do like spamming Orb of Destruction. But what I can do instead is go Staff of Power, and if I see an enemy that I want Orb of Destruction, I can switch to the Orb of Destruction Staff immediately. Which could be a little bit more beneficial. Again, small optimization. Comes with, like, experience, I guess. Just figuring out what's useful, what's not. I don't want to, like, one thing that I really don't want to emphasize is overthinking things. I'm making very small optimizations in this run, mostly as a point of interest to show optimal gameplay. But the reality is, when you do play these games, it's not expected by anyone that you play at all to this level to this standard of play. In fact, I wouldn't even bother going so far as... Oh my god. I saw live 000 and I thought I wasn't recording. Whew, okay, that's my first panic attack for the day. Nice, not bad. Yeah, I really do suggest just going and having a try at this rather than thinking too much about it. I'm in a very bad spot here. There's a lot of enemies to the north, to the south of me. I'm gonna try to Freezing Cloud. If I can get enough mana back from those ogres while I'm killing these guys to the left of me, I think it's okay. Alright, red guys come up on the screen. I need to leave immediately. Sometimes there's a delay between him being on the screen and him closing the doors, which is really useful. We're going to use that like brief moment where he's not sure what's going on to escape. Can use Bolt of Fire here, optimize the route a little bit. Holy god, that took a lot of my health out. That was a good 40-something damage. That's pretty ridiculous. Fair enough. We have no resistances after all. At this stage in the game, I would generally be wanting some resistances. I think that while I do have protection from cold in my inventory, I need the magic on anyway because, you know, it's important to have that magic to make sure the blue guy doesn't mark us. This character is very weak in terms of defense. It's always been the problem with this kind of setup. We have to just be as careful as we can. I think it's too much, I think, to ask for a character that's both really tanky and really damaging. Draconian Fire Elementalist definitely does kind of reach that goal, but it has its own flaws, I think. Like, personally, I'd say that Deep Elf Fire Elementalist is the better of the two for jumping straight into the fray for mages. A lot of people will suggest Draconian Fire Elementalist instead. I think that's fine as well, but there's a part of me that also says that also feels that Deep Elf Fire Elementalist is better because it's much more mage-like. It plays much more like a mage, and there's no temptation for you to go into melee with stuff. I don't want bad habits to be taught, basically. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people will give up at the Deep Elf Fire Elementalist just because they're like, oh, Deep Elf is way too hard. It's way too squishy, it's way too weak. But the reality is, you know, it's bad habits that you're forming by playing other stuff. Deep Elf is very strong if you play it right, and it rewards you for playing correctly. I.e., never letting things get in melee. Understanding that you're a squishy as hell mage. Draconian Fire Elementalist is kind of like Minotaur Berserker, I guess, in that regard, but a little bit worse. I don't know. There's arguments 4 and against both types of things, but I don't know. I'm personally in the camp of Deep Elf Fire Elementalist. Okay, this guy's got a large shield, meaning he blocks a couple of things, but that's fine. Notice how I switched to the Staff of Energy pretty early on, just to Orb of Destruction him. I knew that Orb would be a pretty good way to take him out, because even though he can't block it, it'll just probably one-shot him or do something similar. Okay, so the Sphinx paralyzed us. That could be game ending, potentially, but, you know, if you had MR and you get paralyzed, look, it's not your fault. You've done what you could. You know what I mean? You can't get more MR. It's not your fault. It's just RNG. If you die by paralysis, it's a bullshit death. We're waiting for 0.25 when they remove paralysis. Like, it'll just be good. You guys don't have to worry. Like, paralysis is one of those things where I wanna say that, like, 2 years down the line, it'll be like nauseating chunks. It's like, my god, how could we have ever played this game with fucking paralysis in the game? Like, it's just so bullshit. It's just so dumb, right? That's the kind of thing that I feel that paralysis should be. But you know, I can't say that I'm right until it comes out. So I can't say anything right now. But that's the kind of thing that I feel is it's one of those things where, like, when it gets removed, everyone will be like, my god, it's finally gone. No one's talking about it right now, but you know, they should be. Alright, running a bit low on that mana there. That was a bit scary. Also running a bit low on food. Not a fan. Oops, that was not what I wanted. Nope, that's not what I wanted either. Okay, come on. Equals I, D, C. There we go. Sorry. I like to have my rations on C, because that's the Minotaur Berserker starting thing. It's just ingrained in my muscle memory now, due to speedrunning. So I always have my rations on C. I don't know if there's an init file that automatically makes all rations go on C, but, you know, that'd be nice if I could do that. Perhaps I need to make a macro and just use that, but if there's an init file, that'd be much better. Alright, so we're on Vaults 4 now. There's really no point in us going further. Vaults 5 is very dangerous. I wouldn't worry about that. In fact, it's very unlikely that we'll be doing Vaults 5 in general as a mage. Generally speaking, Vaults 5 are good for attrition-based battles, meaning that mages are terrible at it. Mages rely heavily on short bursts of combat with lots of stair dancing and lots of backing away. They're really not suited for the long, drawn-out battle of Vaults 5. Because, again, Vaults 5 is an area where you're expected to fight, like, enemies with packs of up to 10 to 15, like, pretty much constantly. So yeah, we probably won't be doing Vaults 5 at all this game. I mean, I could show it off, and I might actually do that, in fact. It is definitely a hellscape for a mage compared to, like, a regular melee guy with an axe. But it's doable. It's just not great. It's not something I would recommend as my third rune on a mage, like pretty much ever, really, unless you're really stuck for time. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what the hell that is. That's a fine falchion. That looks really cool. The art's being remade a little bit. As you can notice, the elves look stupid. Okay, why can't I move? Okay, there we go. I was like, fair enough. Yes, fire the orb destruction in the direction of my skeleton. It's fine, I don't care. I need to kill this Phantasmal Warrior, though. Alright, there we go. Not bad. Looks like we're getting cornered a little bit due to all the noise we're making. That's fine. Alright, this fine falchion looks really cool, so I just want to identify it. Our poised MR in +3. That's actually a very decent hold item. Because you're not using melee, mages can actually get away with just holding items with good resistances. And that's just going to give me MR++. That's pretty good. This is a longbow piercer. I like this one. This is a longbow that pierces enemies, and it gives evade -2. It's basically like the biggest longbow in the game. Or one of. Other than, like, Krishna or whatever the hell it's called. This one's really good, but obviously it takes skill of 20 bows, and we're not going to go ahead and do that. It's a waste of time. So we'll just drop it. But it is cool to see. Alright, well, that's going to leave it here. That's going to probably be enough for today. I think I've been playing a little bit fast, despite what I said I wanted to do. The next step in the game is going to be depths, so we're going to have to worry about that now. I don't remember fighting Ezreal, but alright, sure, I just poison arrows whole group to death. Sure, it's fine. You can also just falchion things to death, I guess. I have a lot of health, so I can just do that, I suppose. It's not great, but I'll do it. Sure. Alright, anyway, so I did play a little bit quickly, I apologize for that. It's only 28 minutes to do 2 floors. Like, that's pretty fast for this character. But, again, if you are stuck with if you just come back from something, I would suggest taking it very slowly for a little while. just to make sure you don't die. It's pretty important. Again, most of the things we've learned are pretty much the same as before. Maybe small optimizations can be made, but again, the main priority is just don't think about it too hard. The game is a game after all. It's not some kind of puzzle that will miraculously win you the game if you find the perfect solution. Like it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not a game where the perfect solution is going to guarantee you a win. Compared to just getting a good enough solution. Good enough solutions are very good enough. Like, I think even in streak play, generally, good enough solutions are pretty much all you need. Anyway, I'm ranting now. That's enough. This is like the end of the video where I stop talking about the tutorial, because I've been kind of doing that for the whole day, so I'll just chill out for a sec. I just want to talk a little bit briefly about what I've been doing. Been playing a lot of Street Fighter 5. Computer's finally new, so I can actually play it now. I will say this, people who say that Street Fighter 5 is shit pretty much like either don't know what they're talking about because they're mindlessly following the pros, and the pros play a completely different game than us. I mean, look at Hearthstone, right? Like, dude, Hearthstone, blah blah blah. So many problems with Hearthstone, yet everyone's playing it. Same thing with Street Fighter 5. A lot of the things that are being said are mostly like inaccurate or just completely biased. Every game of Street Fighter 5 that I'm playing right now is like the best possible game that I'd play in Street Fighter 4 in an entire month. The queue times are incredible. I've never played a Street Fighter game and just matched up like I was playing League. It's actually incredible. It's the best fucking experience of my life right now. So if you don't see me recording for a while, it's because I'm playing Street Fighter 5. I apologize, but look, I really, really, really want to play that game. It's so damn good. It's so much fun. I'm finally improving because I'm playing against players that I actually know are the same skill level as me. I don't have to worry about like, oh, is he a grandmaster? Oh shit, is this guy the second best Balrog in Australia? Oh wow, I better fight him like 6 or 7 times in ranked because I can't afford to not play him because I don't have enough fucking points and I don't have anyone else to fight. Like, it's just, oh man, I get to play against actual people, you know what I mean? Like, people that I know are actually the same skill level, and I'm improving really well. It's really enjoyable. Anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Also been playing like a bit of Minecraft, but that's a different thing. I've been using a lot of mod packs. It's kind of fun, actually. It's actually a lot of fun. But I've been using that for mostly like my recording slots for the last week have been taken up by those 2 games. Can't guarantee that I'll be recording every day anymore. Mostly because between my throat and all these new games, kind of having a bit of difficulty squeezing in recording, but I will definitely get projects done. I'm not one to really abandon projects. So this tutorial will get done. It doesn't matter how long it takes, it will get done. I will do all the things that I promised I would do if you guys remind me enough. I will definitely do that. So that's pretty much it for today. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. I hope you guys... Oh, speaking of that, tournament stuff. I really do need to do a recap video of the tournament. I haven't really thought too much about it. I kind of want to get Man in here. He got the 20-win streak. I do want to get some P-team, C-team, whatever thing. So if you guys are there, let me... if you guys were in the tournament playing in one of my teams, let me know if you're available to talk to me. I'd be more than happy to get you in a video with your teammates or whatever. Just have a small chat and, you know, put it on the channel. Just have you guys at the forefront of the channel for a little while. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy me coming back. If I see a lot of likes, you know, obviously I will put a lot more effort in, but, you know, for the time being, I'm not incentivized to do this at all. So, like, I've got other games, but if there's a lot of love for this series, and there's been like fairly lukewarm response, I'd say, for this series. Like, I mean, individuals really like it, but individuals like every different series. But like generally, I mean, like on an overview macro side, it's kind of hard for me to like look at this video series and objectively say, oh, this is definitely worth doing. But I'm doing it because like I really care about having this tutorial up, like, mostly. But it doesn't matter as much to me right now. It doesn't matter so much to me right now that I'm willing to put 2 hours a day into it, from, you know, recording and such. So I apologize. Like, it does sound really shitty, but that's kind of the reality of things. And I do like to be blunt about the channel. I've always been very upfront about things, so trying to be very upfront. If there is a lot of love for this series, I will continue doing. I'm always going to continue doing it, but you know, right now I just don't feel like it's worth doing, which is really shit. I hate that. It really does feel like the channel's sometimes not worth doing, and that's like the worst thing in the world for me. So yeah, this is why I don't like recording, because I get depressed more and more and more, and I keep ranting and I can't stop, and then people get to hear it and they're like, "Ah, oh, that feels bad, man." I'm gonna stop it now so that I can go back to Street Fighter 5. I'll talk to you later.